Hello and welcome to my review of the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry Spire Tyrants. You may be watching this video if you're into Warcry, you may be watching this video if you're into Age of Sigmar, you may be watching this video just because you like me. Let's get on with the review. So this box set will cost you £30. It consists of 9 plastic miniatures. They're all different and there are a few spare parts, and when I mean a few, literally 3. I will show you them in a moment. I'll go through each of these models individually, show you the spare parts, do some size comparisons and then go through the rules. What do you get in this set? You get a Bestigor Destroyer, this model right here. You get a Pit Champion, this guy. You get a Frenzied Rager, Head Claimer, 1 Pit Fighter with a net, 2 Pit Veterans with shields, 1 Pit Veteran with shield or dual weapons, and 1 Pit Fighter with punch dagger or spear. I think the Frenzied Rager is this dwarf guy, and I think the Head Claimer is the guy with the big sort of executioner's axe. That's what I would think. I mean, it's not particularly described anywhere really, but it's a bit of common sense to kind of attribute which miniatures go with which names. What else do we get in this kit super? Well, you get a load of cards for Warcry. They look like this, as you can see. They are all a bit different, you know. Some have kind of ranged weapons, I want to say. Oh, you get these 2 cards as well. They're double-sided, if you wanted to see them. And you get them for each of these Spire Tyrants. There's the Head Claimer, the Bestigor, and they're pretty cool actually that you get the cards, because it's good for just looking at women. I mean, looking at you know, if you want to do like a paint scheme, or you know, just get some ideas. This guy's proper buff, isn't he? Love the top knot and the little beard, and then these as well. I like the women in this. I think that's really cool. I always think there should be more females in the miniatures, but there we go. So much so that I've been buying up all of the sisters that Games Workshop make recently. So yeah, cutting it short, these are the cards that you get for Warcry. So I think that's what, 11 in total with those 2 extra ones. You also get this abilities card. Oh, there you go. I was right. Pit Champion, Head Claimer, Bestigor Destroyer, Pit Fighter with punch dagger or Pit Fighter with spear. I think I put mine with a spear. Punch dagger looks pretty cool though. Pit Veteran with shield, Frenzied Rager, Pit Fighter with net, and Pit Veteran with dual weapons. Same one, but I've given her the helmet. I just think that looks really cool. Reminds me of Vega in a way from Street Fighter. Anyway, so you get the abilities there. I will read those out in the rules part of the video, but for now I will just go through each model individually, starting with the 3 sort of largest models here. You get 3 on 32mm bases, 4 on 28mm bases, and 2 on the tiny 25mm bases, these 2 right here. Even though they're all kind of human sized, obviously the Bestigor is pretty big and then this guy is a huge tank. But let's have a look at these models then. So this Pit Champion, if we have a look at him, looks awesome. It's got this spiked ball on a chain, and he's got this awesome sword. Got a top knot, got a bone there as well. He's got some armour. Looks very, very awesome. And he's got a bit of a scenic base actually too. And the only one with a kind of scenic base. So yeah, he looks pretty good. The Bestigor looks awesome. I love these beasts. Beasts of Chaos. Got some handcuffs, I think. Very kinky. It's got this big, I want to call it a Morning Star, but it's a huge long mace. Got some chainmail about. Yeah. Good looking mini. And then this Head Claimer, this big executioner's type axe. Really, really cool. And I would have liked to have seen this kind of helmet or head on the Chaos Space Marine champion. I've forgotten his name already. But yeah, there you go. Awesome looking mini. And then we go down to your local tramp with a net. Give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Give a man a net and he becomes a gladiator, apparently, in this sense. But this net has got some spikes on as well. It's got this kind of scythe axe. He's got his sandals on too. He's going for the speed. He'll be able to roll quickly. A bit like Dark Souls. Anyway, then you've got this pit veteran with a shield. This is probably my favourite pose. Reminds me a bit of this is Sparta 300. But instead of the spear, he's got a sword. But the shield is kind of similar, I want to say. Well, minus the chaos runes and things. So that's that guy, and you got this guy here with the horns, and he's got this axe, spiked axe, again with this rounded shield with some spikes in there as well. Kind of looks like a Pac-Man with teeth. You've seen it, you can't unsee it. And we've got this frenzied rager, this pint-sized killer. He's absolutely tiny. He's must be like a dwarf, I think, or something. He's got a big blade though. That's not a knife, this is a knife. This blade is like as tall as him. But yeah, he looks very frenzied. And then you've got these two ladies with this mace and this spear. And then this one here with a face plate, not really a helmet, just a face shield with a big cutlass type blade, and this rounded shield as well. Really cool poses. Yeah, I'm not sure whether Games Workshop are trying to go for a Blackstone Fortress instead of unique models. The rest of the Warcry like war bands are £30 too, and they've got the cards, and you know the difference with those is I don't think they've got the unique characters that these have, if that makes sense. You haven't been able to get these before. Maybe they'll come out with another set, a bit like the Untamed Beasts, with double these for £40 or however much it is. But I got them because they look really cool. I wanted something to go with the Ogroid Myrmidon and him sort of marshal them, and they're going to go really well with my Slaves of Darkness army that I'm slowly building. Here's the Ogroid Myrmidon, kind of like, you know, he's sort of in charge of them. He's kind of like marshalling them about. You know, they're going to be following him about, which is pretty cool when you think about it. And they all fit the aesthetic. That's why I got them. I wasn't originally going to get them, but in the end I thought, oh well, yeah. They go so well with the Myrmidon. Anyway, that's those. I will just show you the spare parts and then we'll look at some size comparisons. So here are the spare parts. So you get an axe and the push dagger and the helmetless kind of female face, I think it is. And then you've got an axe there. So instead of the shield, you can have the axe and the blade, and instead of the spear, you can have the push dagger. I don't think it makes much difference rules-wise, but there we go. So yeah, 3 spare parts. I'm not really sure what I can do with these. They will only go with this set. I don't think they're going to fit anywhere else. Maybe the head you might be able to modify a little bit, but yeah, they're just going to go straight in the bits box forever. So this is part of the review where I'll go through some size comparisons. I wanted to do size comparison with the Ogroid Myrmidon at first. Yeah, clearly he is taller than all of the models in this kit. The pit champion himself is taller. In total, like the sword is taller than the Ogroid just by a little bit, but of course, yeah, mass size, body size, the Ogroid is way bigger. And the Bestigor, which is, you know, quite a tall model, again, bigger than the Bestigor too. and even like, let's just compare it to like a human-sized miniature. Yeah. Way bigger than that. So yeah, I suppose you could have them as a demon prince maybe. But yeah, that's a little comparison with all of them, and like I say, fits really well with them. Compared to other Age of Sigmar models, you've got a normal Chaos Warrior. You know, the Bestigor is a little bit taller. Pit Champion is, well, because he's on that scenic base, they're similar size. Similar size. You know, he'd be a bit bigger if he had the armor on. Compared to the normal humanoid, yeah, Chaos Warrior is bigger. So yeah, they work really well. All of the aesthetics, they fit so well. You have this, you know, even if you had this Chaos Warrior in amongst them, just one would work really well in the Spire Tyrants, especially if you painted the armour the same as their pieces of armour as well. That would look great. Next to a Knight, I've got a Chaos Knight here. Chaos Knight is a fair bit bigger, but that's just to give you like a comparison between how big these Knights are compared to sort of normal human-sized infantry. These are huge things, aren't they? I'd like to get the Varangard at some point on Archaon, but we'll see. We'll see if I can get them soon. They're very high up on my to get list. Anyway, that's next to Chaos Knight. And the final comparison that I always like to make is just with the Space Marines, which are right here. And I usually do a size comparison with Space Marines because most people have Space Marines or they know how big they are. So next to a humanoid figure, Space Marines are a fair bit bigger, especially with that power plant. Bulkier as well. And of course, yeah, next to a Primaris, well, yeah, he is a little bit taller than a Primaris, but he is on that rock. So yeah, sizes are all over the place, you know. When you think that this guy is probably same height as a Primaris compared to a normal human, though, that makes a bit more sense. Okay, so there are all the size comparisons. Hope you've enjoyed those. This is my part of the review where I will go through all of their rules. So first of all, I'll just read you the abilities off of the Spire Tyrants fighter types card that you get with the kit. You have double pit fighter. A fighter can use this ability only if an enemy fighter has been taken down by an attack action made by them this activation. This fighter can make a bonus move action or a bonus attack action. Double Gladiator's Net. Pick a visible enemy fighter within 3 inches of this fighter and roll 1 dice. On a 3+, that fighter cannot make move actions or disengage actions this battle round. Double Shield Ram. Until the end of this fighter's activation, the next time this fighter finishes a move action, pick a visible enemy fighter within 1 inch of this fighter and roll 1 dice. On a 4-5, allocate 1 damage point to that fighter. On a 6, allocate a number of damage points to that fighter equal to the value of this ability. Triple Readied Stance. Until the end of the battle round, add half the value of this ability, rounding up to the toughness characteristic of this fighter. Triple Champion of the War Pits. A fighter can use this ability only if an enemy fighter has been taken down by an attack action made by them this activation. Until the end of the battle round, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of attack actions made by visible friendly fighters within 6 inches of this fighter. And finally, Quad Brutal Strike. Pick a visible enemy fighter within 1 inch of this fighter and roll 1 dice. On a 3-4, allocate a number of damage points to that fighter equal to the value of this ability. On a 5-6, allocate a number of damage points to that fighter equal to double the value of this ability. Doesn't sound complicated at all. Let's get on to some more straightforward rules, I think, with the old Age of Sigmar. You find their rules in your Slaves to Darkness battle tome. Spire Tyrants are a unit minimum size of 9 and a maximum of 36, and they're a points cost of 70. So they cost exactly the same as 10 Splintered Fang, 9 Unmade, and 9 Untamed Beasts. So, you know, for the same 9 Untamed Beasts, you can get 9 of these Spire Tyrants. So their stat line then, they've got 1 wound, their movement of 6 inches, a save of 5+, and a bravery of 5. With this unit, I've just gone for the rule of cool. I haven't really looked at the stat lines as much as, say, the Corvus Cabal, for instance. You know, the Corvus Cabal, for instance, they have a movement of 8 inches, but a worse save, but the same bravery. Untamed Beasts, for instance, have a worse save, but the same for their other stats. So what are they armed with? They're armed with gladiatorial weapons, which are a range of 1 inch, 1 attack, 4+ to hit, and 4+ to wound. They don't have a rend, but they are damage 1. Okay, quite straightforward then. They're exactly the same as the Untamed Beasts hunting weapons. They're exactly the same as the Iron Golem's Legion weapons. Quite straightforward, quite solid. A unit of Spire Tyrants has any number of models, each armed with gladiatorial weapons. Now, the juicy bit comes with these 3 sort of champions, these 3 characters. So you've got a pit champion. 1 in every 9 models in this unit must be a pit champion. They must be. Add 2 to the attacks characteristic of a pit champion's melee weapons. So there you go, instead of 1 attack, you've now got 3 attacks from that pit champion. Head claimer, 1 in every 9 models in this unit must be a head claimer. Add 1 to the damage characteristic of a head claimer's melee weapons. So again, the head claimer has a damage of 2. And the Bestigor Destroyer, 1 in every 9 models in this unit must be a Bestigor Destroyer. Add 2 to the attacks characteristic of a Bestigor Destroyer's melee weapons. So again, you've got 3 attacks there. So you've got 3 attacks for the Bestigor, 3 for the Pit Champion, and an extra damage for the Head Claimer. Abilities, Pit Fighters. You can add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this unit if it charged the same turn. So that's the only downside really. I mean, their save is only 5+. But if you're charging with them, you can add 1 to the hit rolls. So that 4+ becomes a 3+. You've got 9 of them charging in, so that would be 12 attacks, plus the 6 from the 2 characters. That's 18, 19 with the head claimer. So 19 attacks from 9 models is quite decent. You've just got to keep them out of sight from any sorcerers or any missile Age of Sigmar units, because yeah, their save isn't the best, and they do shine once they charge, but they must charge. They can't be charged to get those extra attacks. Keywords: Chaos, Mortal, Slaves to Darkness, Cultists, and Spire Tyrants. So there you go. That is my review of the Warcry Spire Tyrants, which can be used in your Slaves of Darkness Age of Sigmar army, and that's the main reason I got them. I think they're really, really cool looking models. I am very pleased that I purchased them. They're lovely looking miniatures. They are pricey for the £30, and I wish they would be £20 or so. That's how much I feel like they're worth, considering you don't get any usable spare parts, and you can only make this unit. I will be getting Untamed Beasts, adding them to this force as well, and it will be I think 20 models of them or so. So stay tuned to the channel if you want more Warcry, Age of Sigmar content, because there is some coming. Games Workshop only recently at the weekend just previewed the 2 new monsters, the Fomeride Crusher and the Sphiranx, and I'll be getting those, so stay tuned to the channel for unboxings and reviews for those on the 22nd of February. What do you guys think of the miniatures? What do you guys think of these warbands, these Warcry units? Please do put it in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Death to the False Emperor.